All right, so with the current election, a lot of you, a lot of doubts and a lot of enthusiasm with what's going to be coming up with the new laws and policies, and you're just unsure, or you're looking at it positively. Well, like von Bismarck said, laws are like sausages. It's better not to see them being made. It's always important to remember with whether your political beliefs, whether laws are beneficial to you or other people, it's always important to remember that it's always going to be benefiting someone. And you can never really know if you can be really mad at some things, but it's going to make other people really happy. And at the same time, you have to remember with laws and policies, things can always they can always seem like they're good, but you really have to look inside and see what's running them. It's like sausage. I bet you most of you can't even think of more than what's in sausage besides maybe some garlic and herbs and meat. But what else is really in sausage? You just don't know. That's like a lot of laws and policies, like the ones that are heavily debated about, that we see in the media all the time. You know a lot about those, but there's also a lot of other things, little things that can affect our daily lives that we just have no idea about, that are going on and that are going to get pushed into our lives. And they can have a big effect on us, and they can't, like healthcare and everything else. There's stuff that a lot of us can relate to and look at, and then there's also stuff in between the lines that we don't necessarily pay attention to, and could be the gunk and horse feet that are put into the sausage that we just don't pay attention to also. Thank you.
That's an automatic A.
All right, well, there was a reference to the election. I thought it was a little bit abstract. I did think, however, you made a pretty good transition to the topic that you had and the point of view that you had. In fact, I thought your thesis sounded really clear. Unfortunately, you just basically kind of repeat the same idea over and over again, and you need a structure. Sometimes ideas come to you, and then you just start talking about them, and they might be very similar to something that you'd already talked about, and so it doesn't really feel like it's planned. It just feels like it's random when you were coming up with this information. Most of the ideas that you did talk about seemed like they were pretty good illustrations of the point, but they did feel very much like they were just popping into your head, and you would add them as you would go along. So I think there needed to be a little bit more of a plan for the presentation. The delivery issues, I think, are all pretty solid. Your voice projects well, and it's actually very fluid, despite the fact that you seem to be going in circles at times with some of the things that you're saying. It still flows very smoothly. Your facial expressions seem animated. Generally, your eye contact was solid. I did feel a little bit like you were locked in that one spot, and I think you'd be a little bit more engaging if you step forward at times or change the orientation of your body occasionally. But like I said, it was a very fairly brief presentation, so you got to the point pretty effectively. At the end, I thought that you had a nice summary of the point that you were trying to make and finished with a pretty good exit line there. All right, thank you.